you Wednesday night in our Bible study with open arms. You have killed some of the most beautifulest people that I know. Every fiber in my body hurts, and it'll never be the same. Tyrone Sanders is my son, but Tyrone was my hero. Tyrone was my hero. But as we said in Bible study, we enjoyed you, but may God have mercy on you.
That was Felicia Sanders, one of the survivors of the Emmanuel Massacre, speaking directly to Dylan Roof during his bond hearing 10 years ago. Tonight, we're hearing from her husband, Tyrone Sanders, for the first time. He lost 3 family members that night: his son, Tyrone Sanders, his aunt, Susie Jackson, and his cousin, Ethel Lance. He also almost lost his 11-year-old granddaughter, Kamai Mandigoat, and the love of his life, his wife, Felicia Sanders. In this exclusive sit-down, he talks to me about grieving his son, the difficulty in forgiving the shooter, and trying not to think about what would have happened if his wife was murdered. Take us back to that night. He's at Bible study, and then things go wrong. How did you find out that something was happening at Mother Emanuel?
Felicia called me, my wife. She called me. I was getting ready to go and hang out. And she said, we lost our baby. And my grandson was born right around that same time. And I'm thinking she's talking about my grandson. And I was like, what baby are you talking about? And she just kept saying, we lost our baby. And I said, you got to speak a little clearer than that. And she said, Tawanza is gone. They've been shooting at the church. And I was cooking something, so when they got home. But I just left everything on the stove and just went straight to the church. Couldn't get through. And so we had to wait until they come out.
That night, Sanders lost his aunt, Susie Jackson, his cousin, Ethel Lance, and his very own son, Tyrone Sanders. His wife, Felicia Sanders, grabbed their 11-year-old granddaughter and laid on top of her as Dylan Roof fired more than 70 shots. They both played dead.
That's a hard one. I don't know what I might have done. I almost went out there and did something crazy. I grew up not wanting anybody to do anything to me. If you did something to me, I wanted to do it back to you. But I learned how to control my temper when I was around 30 years old. So if I was a whole lot younger, ain't no telling what I might have done.
For those who don't know, tell us about your son, Tyrone.
Tyrone was an energetic child. He always wanted to accomplish whatever he started. He's just like what I always say, if he starts something, he's gonna finish it to his satisfaction. Because I used to always tell him, if you hit a brick one time and it don't break, you keep hitting it again, it's gonna break sooner or later. It's hard every day because I think about my son all the time, because actually when he was growing up, he would go boating with me. We would go boating. He would slip off the back of the boat. We was always arguing. And no, we don't call it arguing. I guess you could say debating. We would debate a lot, and then he'll storm upstairs and come back downstairs and say, Dad, you know you're right. And the last couple of years of his life, he would travel with me to homecoming, to my fraternity's conclave, tournaments, and I missed all of that. I just miss my son.
Sanders tells me starting Camp Wanza is a fitting tribute for his son.
The impact of his demise has brought us to open up Camp Wanza, because that's what he used to call his camp when he was trying to teach his little cousins and nephews.
There has been, since the murder of Mother Emanuel, the focus on forgiveness and forgiving. Where are you in that journey?
Since slavery, they were hanging out people and expect for the families to forgive, which they forgave to save their lives and save other lives. I just can't get there because there was my son, my aunt, a cousin, 6 others, and it almost was my wife, my granddaughter, Miss Paulie.
Sanders never refers to Dylann Roof by his name, but shares his thoughts about him murdering his son.
Since he's looking for clemency, I wish they would make you a paraplegic without the ability to have any prosthetics. And that goes for anybody that commits a barbaric act.
My conversation with Tyrone Sanders continues. Again, he lost 3 family members in the Mother Emanuel Massacre: his aunt, Susie Jackson, his cousin, Ethel Lance, and his son, Tyrone Sanders. His wife, Felicia Sanders, and their 11-year-old granddaughter survived after playing dead. I asked Mr. Sanders to share his thoughts on South Carolina not having a hate crimes law since the Mother Emanuel tragedy 10 years ago.
My thought process and analysis is that you still got a lot of those people hiding behind supremacy in some kind of way. And they've been getting away with, how would you say it? They were getting away with things for so long to other ethnic groups that they, in a sense, feel they don't want to be locked up or persecuted for the crimes that they might commit or somebody in their families might commit, as in the guy who did the thing at the church.
One of their own senators, as we know, was murdered, Senator Clementa Pinckney, and many people assumed that if the law was named after him, that it would already be passed, and that's still not it. What's your response to that, saying that a senator was murdered and still they're not honoring his legacy?
I'm not a racist, but the fact remains that Clementa Pinckney is black. I'm pretty sure if it was a white senator, they probably would have tried to push it through quick like.
Efforts to pass a hate crime law at the State House have stalled the last few years. A measure has passed through the House, but hasn't been taken up in the Senate. Since then, some municipalities across the state enacted their own hate crime ordinances. South Carolina is one of 2 states that still does not have a hate crime law. And when we asked the governor that question, his response was, "I'm still not convinced that that adds anything to our law, because every crime in my book is a crime already, and a lot of penalties that can be imposed on someone who breaks those laws." What's your reaction to the governor's take on not having a hate crime law in South Carolina?
But a lot of these barbaric acts is not committed by people of other ethnic groups. These committed acts are basically being carried out by this group that wants to be superior. But we were all born, this country is a country of different ethnic groups, and enough is enough.
Sanders and his wife Felicia, who survived the massacre, learned to cope firsthand with the effects of hate. He says enough blood has been shed and lawmakers must Act now.
It's time that South Carolina has a hate crime law. Just like they took the flag down, they need to go ahead and push this hate crime bill so that the rest of America won't feel like this is still a hate state.